Um, in the aftermath of Katrina, hundreds and thousands of African American families and workers from the region lost their jobs. They were displaced. The failure of the government did not end simply in the rescue operation. The government also failed to create policies and practices that brought displaced people back to the region. So effectively, these African American workers, people who for generations had worked in the region, were locked out of the Reconstruction. African American workers were racially excluded from the Reconstruction of New Orleans. Meanwhile, immigrant workers were exploited. While black workers were locked out of the Reconstruction, immigrant workers were locked in. They were brought often by recruiters, often through extremely coercive means, and brought to a Gulf Coast and locked into extremely exploitative workplaces. So life on the ground just after Katrina was indeed not only chaotic but extremely cruel. You had African Americans living in FEMA trailer parks across the Gulf Coast, people displaced across the country, and low-income families living on FEMA vouchers in hotels, living by the dozens, by the hundreds, by the thousands, jobless and unable to return to their lives and gain livelihood. Meanwhile, you had immigrant workers brought by the carload, the van load, the bus load, dumped into the city, dumped in front of contractors who took them from day labor corners and from labor camps to work and didn't pay them.